off, thank you for hanging out so long. You've been
Yes.
here like over an hour. We're just talking to people, stories and everything. So I really appreciate.
Well, I found it way more interesting than being locked up 23 hours a day in an exeg. That wasn't nothing. So there you go.
What? Tell me your name.
William E. Potts.
William E. Potts.
Yeah.
Adam. It's nice to meet you.
Okay.
So it sounds like you were locked up. What was it for?
Well, my last case was a fake gun case. So I was looking at 10 to 30.
You had a fake gun?
Yeah, but made somebody think it was a real one. But I didn't have intent. That's the only thing it was, right? So I had a hell of a time writing the DA getting out of that one. Because they were like trying to say, do you know a fine line of what is acceptable and not acceptable, right? So I had to show them I got a morbid sense of humor, right? Which sometimes gets me in trouble, right? But I ended up doing 90 days and was out of there. So that was the end of that. That won't happen again.
You won't only get 90 days, or you won't get in trouble again?
I can't say I won't get in trouble, but 90 days was nothing. They were trying to give me 10 to 30, but I didn't have no intent. It was just, I was just being humorous at the wrong time, right?
Were you representing yourself?
Most definitely. Well, I had a public defender, right, but I pretty much represented myself. It wasn't that serious. I just had to explain some things. That's all. It was what it was. Plus, they had it on film, and so.
Why'd they have it on film?
Well, it was videotaped. It was in a store when it happened. Yeah, so.
And were you was the person who had the fake gun pointed at him behind the register?
No.
No.
No, I had the fake gun. It was an obvious toy gun. I just went up there.
But was the person who?
No, she wasn't behind the register.
Not at the register.
No.
Where were they?
Oh, well, it was a lady that was in there. She was saying something to me, right? And so this woman doesn't even know who I am, right? So I walked up with a pistol and I said, "Gangster." She went, "Ah!" So I walked out, you know. Then I forgot that I had did it, and I came back, right? And the police pulled some real heat on me, right? You know, so that's what that was.
All right, now why were you messing with this lady? I mean, I'm laughing,
well,
but that's terrifying.
I thought
she's probably like about to have a heart attack.
Well, I've been doing it to people, right? Just making my money on the streets, right? I'm a fairly good judge of character, right? One time I had somebody pull some real stuff on me on the streets, right?
Yeah.
Well, it looked real enough, right? Dude maybe thought I was talking.
You don't want to find out for sure.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So, just like, at the end of the moment, right? Plus, you probably felt the stress of me living on the streets, right? Because it happened November 28th, right? So you could probably, because I've been out shoveling snow and chopping up ice, right? So you could probably feel that part where I wasn't playing, right? Because I had a hoodie on, I was covered up. And when she was up there talking some trash to me, I said, well, you don't even know who I am. That could have been real, right? So I gotten away with it, but I wasn't thinking about what I'd done and walked right by the place, right? The police saw me, and I was into that, right? Plus, I had a few trivial warrants on me, but I talked my way out of that one, though.
William, I see you have an eye patch.
Yes.
Do you have trouble with one of your eyes?
No. It goes along with my theme. And when you get the interview, you'll see.
Is your thing like a pirate thing?
Oh, it's a long.
That's a real question. I don't know.
Well, it kind of represents believing none of what you hear, half of what you see, money in hand, trust no man. May God alone be found true, and every man a liar. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18. God don't lie, he generally don't. It's just theatrics, put it that way.
I wish Mid was here because he knows the Bible cold.
That's a good thing.
Give him that verse again.
Times by the time I was okay. What are you talking about?
Give him
No,
that verse again.
it's Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18 says all things are two accountable things that it is impossible for God to lie. And God wouldn't have no reason to lie, because generally when we lie as humans, we generally lie because we're trying to covet or gain something that doesn't belong to us. Whereas all things belong to God, the very air we even breathe, right? So he wouldn't have to lie to get that. Or we'll lie because we're in trouble, right? And God can never be in trouble. So why would God have a reason to lie? Yeah, he has no reason to lie. So God cannot be untrue. He cannot deny himself. His word will not come back to him in void. Like when God says, let there be light, there will be light. His word's not going to come back, well, it couldn't be no light, When God says something, it's done, all right? That's it. Ain't gonna, his word's not going to come back in vexation or frustration, like, oh, it couldn't work out. No, God says something's going to happen, consider it done, right? So,
Yeah.
and lying is like, do I lie? Of course I lie, but I ain't lying all the time, though.
Give him the verse that you gave me.
Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18.
Yeah, but like recite it.
We can't, hold on.
Well, I'm not doing it in full detail. I got my little Gideon's Bible in there, right?
I'll look it up for us. Hold
All
on.
right. He did it before. It was actually, that was what brought me. That's
Well, I was looking at one Bible, it didn't have that in there, right?
Hebrews 6:18.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, let's look at
It
it.
wasn't in this one Bible I was reading, right?
Right on.
And I was trying to look for it.
All right.
It had been a minute.
Yeah, he got it, man. He said, this is the New International Version. God did so that by two unchangeable things in which it is impossible for God to lie, we have fled to take hold of the hope set forth, may be greatly encouraged. So yeah.
That's my favorite
6:18.
scripture.
Yeah.
I liked how you
was,
said it. All right, so William, so God doesn't lie. Sometimes we do. What's going on with you?
Right now I'm doing some health issues I got to deal with. Plus I want to get, I've been on the streets for a while probably because of my own choosing, but I probably don't feel as homeless because I've been here in Denver since 1970. So I'm just a little bit tired now, just happen to be coming through here, right? So I have a partner, he's got a restaurant. He just bought a restaurant, and he's gonna turn into, it's right here on Colfax, it's gonna be called Gators after a dog he has, right? It's gonna be a barbecue restaurant, right? So he's been helping me a lot with business and stuff, right? So I got some ideals that I know would definitely not fail. Mostly all I've ever done is just restaurant work, right? Some yard work, you know. Like my mentor, right? He's an old man, he used to ride around with a shotgun, right? He used to work me from dawn to dusk, right? I mean, he was like 80-some years old, still working, right? So one day he's looking at me, he's like, I've been observing your leisurely ways. He says, you like to daydream a lot, don't you? He says, I'm trying to teach you how to work. He says, some people don't know how to work. He says, a lazy man is always standing behind you. And he said, for Pete's sakes, even a woman can help you lift a truck up. He said, you know, when your kids come up to you and say, Daddy, Mommy, can I help you work? And you say, no, I don't think so. You're too young. He says, I beg to differ. That's the best time to teach them to work, when they want to work. That way, when they grow up, they can say, I don't know how to work. Oh, yes, you do. You've been doing it all your life. He said, he said, for the sake of the matter that a woman's a woman, he said, perhaps a woman can put on a cute little outfit and walk down the road without $1 to her name, and perhaps, maybe, probably, marrying her riches and fame, because heaven and earth lies at the woman's foot. But he said, a fella, a man, unless you're really good looking, he says, son, take heed. A man's like, he says, a man's really got to eat the dust and bite the dirt. He passed away at the age of 87, about 6 years back. But the man was a heck of a dude, right, man? He was just a hustler to the max, right? But it was kind of hard to please him, right? But at the end, he did say I was one of his better workers, though, right? But he's kind of scandalous. He was kind of scandalous, too, right? But I guess nobody ain't perfect. But on this note, though, I just wanted to say something that was going to be out here. It's about living on the streets, if I may. It's called The Rain That Falls. It's rather wordy, but dare I say, I think it's worthy. May I start now? All right, the rain that falls. The first thing you notice when you're homeless is how long the nights are. It's hard to realize that a night can be so long, but in time you get used to it. You don't really sleep at first, especially in the beginning, because you wake up every 15 minutes worried that someone will come upon you. Your imagination runs wild. What terrible things would happen if you fell asleep and let that happen? The world at night, when you're alone without shelter, is something like the Twilight Zone. Another dimension, another planet, where the normal laws of time and space do not apply. When the sun comes up, you are so happy knowing that soon people will be out and you will be back again in the world on terra firma. Although you're tired and you're worried about how fast night comes again. When you're on the streets, one day is no different than the next day. Wednesdays are the same as Saturdays. Events of yesterday blur often out of sequence with the next day. One week runs into another week. Without structure, things can become confusing. Soon you see store shops closing down, cars becoming fewer and fewer, lights diminishing on residential blocks. You endlessly watch working mothers and fathers arriving home to their families, and you stand outside talking to them inside your head saying, "Don't go inside. Not yet. Please stay out a little bit longer." As the workaday world goes silent, you may notice that your hearing changes and other sounds become more pronounced, like the sound of a car engine sputtering, tires squirreling around a turn, distant, faraway sounds like a train engine passing by, police, gunshots, ambulance sirens. Perhaps you may notice that your sense of smell becomes more acute and other smells become more distinct. You may notice that broken glass has its own smell, like the various smells of wine bottles, Night Train, Thunderbird, oh yeah, Boone's Farm. Mixed along with the other varieties of liquor and beer are distinct too. These smells compete with the smells of rats, wet plastic, rotting wood, the smell of a hollow place, and you can hardly avoid the reoccurring smell of human feces and urine. Nighttime can be far more brutal than sleeping in abandoned store fronts, alleyways, and park benches. It is a criminal business world where hardened humans prey upon the weaknesses and misfortunes of others. A world of hustlers, pimps, prostitutes, junkies, and murderers. A soulless world where parents loan their children to deviants for drugs or whatever else satisfies their empty hearts. This is a world that you may not want to know exists. Oh, but it exists. It exists everywhere, and I strongly suspect it's always existed. This world is full of women and men, many of them young, who lost their way a long time ago. If you are a girl, God have mercy on you. If you're a boy, God have mercy on you too. Depending on what kind of boy you are, you might survive. But if you're a girl, probably not. This world is always on the lookout for new recruits. Usually, you cross the threshold unaware, and you're there, or you're part of it all, with a well-worn training program that dictates what you're gonna do, where you're gonna do it, when you're gonna do it, and what will happen if you do not do it. So you do it. If you do not want to be lonely, and you want to eat, and you want to avoid the seemingly endless nights and the sounds and the smells that they bring. It does not matter what you look like, black, white, tall, fat, Chinese. If you're young and you're homeless, you're drafted. Homelessness is preferable than to be sucked into the machinery of the night. Carefree, self-preoccupied people walk by you, perhaps sidestepping the spot where you stand in order not to see you, or driving obliviously by you. depending on your state of mind, if you were like myself, perhaps you preferred being invisible as I did. In my modest opinion, I think that everyone should experience being homeless and going without. You get a different perspective and appreciation for everything. You come to realize that you could be living in a house and still be homeless, as I was in the prisons and institutions where one was forced to live in. If you have never been on the streets, perhaps you've not noticed its inhabitants. But once you have been there yourself, no matter how your own personal circumstances improve, you will always retain your otherworldly eyes, and your extraterrestrial vision will always see the inhabitants that lay in the shadows just beyond the gates. And you understand that in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. That's all I got.